What's poppin' YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Astro Finesse. It's your boy Lil Finesse, Jiggy Hippie, back with another video for y'all. And in this video right here, we're talking about if you have Chiron in the 6th house or Chiron in the sign of Virgo. And pause for the cause if you don't know how to find your Chiron placement. If you're a new subscriber, if you're just starting off your journey of self-love, self-knowledge, self-understanding, if you don't realize why it's so important that you have to look at yourself through astrology, study astrology, and to love yourself through astrology and numerology, don't worry, I got you. There's a couple of videos. I'll put the link in the description. You have to watch them first to become hip to the knowledge of what I'm about to talk about right now. So if you look at your birth chart or your natal chart, it's the same thing, and you realize you have Chiron in the 6th house or in the sign of Virgo. And pause for the cause, if you have Chiron in Virgo, I fuck with you on an even deeper level because we have the same Chiron placement. That means we have the same internal wound. We have to heal the same way and also help liberate others the same way. So a lot of times in this video, I'm going to be speaking to myself too. Like I always say, I'm not perfect. I don't want y'all thinking I have all the answers and I'm perfect. So I'm also on this spiritual healing journey just like y'all. So anyway, if you have this placement, this video is for you. So without further ado, let's just get it popping, shall we? Now you already know before I start, I'm gonna give y'all a list of some celebrities so y'all can visually see what Chiron in the 6th house people look like and act like in reality. Then I'm gonna have a list of celebrities that have Chiron in the sign of Virgo. So to start, we got Madonna, Gandhi, Kendall Jenner, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Jessica Biel, SZA, Kelly Rowland, Tyga, Tyler Perry, and Tyrese Gibson. And now these are the celebrities that have Chiron in the sign of Virgo. We got Justin Bieber, Halsey, Meg Thee Stallion, Diana Ross, Post Malone, Kalani, Lil Uzi Vert, Patti LaBelle, Robert De Niro, and Barry White. Alright, so boom, Chiron in the 6th house, Chiron in Virgo. First of all, what does Chiron mean? What does Chiron represent in our birth chart? So Chiron in our birth chart shows us which area in life, depending on the house placement and the sign placement it's in, it shows us which area in life we come into this reality with an internal wound already, with a vulnerability, with a sense of weakness in whatever sign it's in, whatever house it's in. It shows us that if we heal from this wound, heal from this weakness, and actually work on ourselves internally, we will then be able to externally help others around us. It's the key to unlocking our potential, to helping ourselves. And from doing this, we heal ourselves and then we heal others in the process. So it's not a planet, it's an asteroid that orbits in between Saturn and Uranus. So you could kind of put these two energies together as in the Saturn energy, which makes you think about your flaws, kind of makes you pessimistic on yourself, brings the boundaries, it brings the restrictions on you. And once you heal from these things, once you heal from these restrictions, once you heal from these boundaries and work on yourself internally, you could then change it into the Uranus energy, which is liberating yourself, freeing yourself, and also freeing humanity as a whole and helping those around you. So now it's considered a wounded healer. And to know where this wounded healer story came from, I gotta take y'all way back in the Maybach to a Greek mythological story of where Chiron originated. So to start, Chiron was abandoned at birth. Chiron's father, named Kronos or Saturn, he had a reputation for eating his children because he was afraid that his children will grow up and overthrow his power. And his fear was true because one of his sons, Zeus, actually grew up and overthrown his power. So Chiron's father, Kronos, was out looking for Zeus. While he was looking for Zeus, he came across a nymph named Philyra. He was attracted to Philyra. He wanted to get with Philyra, but Philyra did not want nothing to do with Kronos. Keep this in mind. Philyra did not want nothing to do with Kronos. So her trying to run away from Saturn or Kronos, she changed herself into a mare or a female horse to run away from Kronos. And Kronos turned himself into a horse to get with Philyra. So he got with Philyra, and then they created Chiron. So Chiron is a bastard child because, like I said, the mother did not want nothing to do with Kronos in the beginning. Chiron came out half man, half horse, half human. He came out looking so different that the mother was ashamed. So she abandoned Chiron at birth. So Chiron is abandoned at birth. Out came Apollo. Apollo was a god of enlightenment. He had all this knowledge he put onto Chiron, knowledge of poetry, music, healing, herbs, astrology. He just started teaching Chiron things, all the things that he knew, to the point that Chiron actually became like a master healer, a master teacher. He became one of the prominent figures in that lifetime, teaching other gods, training other gods, and putting them onto things. So Chiron, from being abandoned at birth, grew up to become a healer, a very important figure in that lifetime. That's where the healing aspect comes in. So fast forward, Hercules was in a war with other centaurs, and the centaur is a half man, half horse. Chiron is a half man, half horse, half god, so he resembles a centaur. And he was accidentally hit in the hip with a poison arrow by Hercules. And now remember, Chiron's father, Kronos, is a god. He's immortal. So Chiron himself is immortal. So that wound that he got accidentally could not be healed because he can never die, and he will always live forever. So that's where the wounded healer effect comes in, because remember, Chiron is a master healer. He's a healer with a wound that he himself can't heal himself. So fast forward, it came to the point that he was praying and begging all the gods, please let me die because this wound is unbearable. I want to die because I can't take this pain no more. And that's where they say the constellation of Sagittarius in the sky came about, was when Chiron was able to rest in peace. So all that put together explains to y'all where the wounded healer effect comes in. So what does that represent for you and me? Because we have the same similar placement. What does that represent for us, having Chiron in the 6th house or Chiron in Virgo? So it shows us that our wound is Virgo energy, the Virgo characteristics. And if we heal from these things, we'll be able to help humanity as a whole. So 6th house energy, Virgo energy, is all about, the health, day-to-day routines, being perfectionistic, knowing the details. It's like your day-to-day routines of knowing what you want to do and being organized in a way of your everyday activity, your work ethicness, your health, things of that sort. So what happens to us in our childhood, because remember, Chiron stems from childhood traumas, childhood difficulties we went through, that if we grow up without healing it, it affects us as an adult. So I'm gonna use myself for example. A lot of us grew up feeling that either we were always criticized for what we're doing, or it's not good enough, or it's not perfect, it's not good enough. We always felt that we weren't appreciated unless we were doing something for somebody. Oh, you did a good job because you were able to do this for us. You were able to do that. It's like our sense of service was where we felt the most appreciated. And if it wasn't perfect in our eyes or in other people's eyes, and our parents, our teachers, our peers, when we got criticized, we took that to heart. So we take criticism very seriously. Also, it could be criticism to ourselves and our external body, especially. Like for me, for example, way back when I was in like elementary school, believe it or not, I used to be really chubby. I used to have I look way different. I used to be really chubby with glasses. I couldn't dress. So I used to get bullied or made fun of for my body weight, the way I looked, my glasses, my geekiness, my nerdiness. And that carried on to a lot of times when we get made fun of in our younger years for our physical appearance, we kind of have an internal shaming of our body. So we become, as we grow up, really obsessive about how we look, make sure our body is good, make sure our health is good, make sure we're eating right. We become really self-critical on our body, making sure everything is perfect. Because like I said, our wound stems from us being criticized for who we are, for what we did, for our services we provided. So us being criticized in the past makes us grow up and want everything to be perfect. We want to be like really perfect. We become hypochondriacs, as in like, we think there's always something wrong because we always want things to be just like perfect a lot growing up. And that stems from our insecurity from us always being criticized in our younger years. Like I said, a lot of us can grow up and have like eating disorders or things that have to do with our health wise. We become really self-critical on our health, our physical body, physical appearance, and we can have negativities on that sort because we're trying to be too perfect. So what we're supposed to heal from this, what we're supposed to learn from these experiences, is to learn that, first of all, nobody's perfect. And I gotta tell myself this every single day. Like, understand how true this placement is for me. especially being in the public eye, being on this YouTube channel, having like, you know, a lot of eyes watching me. It's like we always have to make sure everything we're doing, we always want to be looked at and viewed at as we're perfect, well put together. And this could be a detriment if we're too extreme, if we're too obsessive with our physical appearance, if we're too obsessive with our health, too OCD, too critical on ourselves. It will turn out to us being also too critical on others. We could be very judgmental. We could be very controlling, as in we want things to be a certain way. We want things to be like this. We could be really OCD and really obsessive about things going a certain way. Like I said, it stems from our criticism. It stems from our childhood past. Also, you could be on the other extreme of being way too lenient on your body, not caring about what you're eating, not caring about your health, not caring about being clean. You could have that. You could have the extreme polar opposite of being too critical on yourself, too OCD, or being too lenient, not caring about your body, just not really caring about your health and your physical appearance in a way. So what Chiron is teaching us is showing us that we have to work on our balance, work on making sure that we're not doing things because we are afraid that we're not looked at as perfect. Like with this placement, a lot of times we have strong anxiety. We have really high anxiety attacks. Our anxiety is OD because everywhere we go, it's like our mind is like calculating things. Am I walking perfect? Am I doing this perfect? Am I looked at as this? Because we're always afraid of being criticized, like I said. So the way to heal yourself, the way to kind of get over these anxiety attacks, the way to kind of get over these self-criticisms that we always do is to relax and understand that nobody is perfect. We have to do things that we love to do naturally, be of service naturally, create our own schedule naturally, but do it not because we want somebody to accept it, or we want to have or we want to have no criticism, or we just want things to be perfect, but do it because we're doing it naturally. Also, with this placement, we have to be careful what kind of job we have, what kind of routine we set for ourselves, because our job environment can directly correlate to our health. When it comes to anything health-wise, it's all mental. So if you're stressed out mentally, if you have anxiety mentally, whatever you're going through mentally can correlate to your physical body. So a lot of us, if we're being obsessive, like, I hope I don't get sick, or I better not get sick, or I want to make sure I'm perfect eating-wise, I want to make sure everything is, if we're being so anxious and so perfect on our mental and our body and things, that's what can actually generate a physical illness. That's what can actually generate a physical deformity when it comes to our health or physical appearance, because we're always over-analyzing and over-anxious about this part in our life. So we're the type to actually be able to see the imperfections in people, to see what people can do to help better themselves, especially when it comes to their everyday activities and their eating habits and their health. We can actually see what's like not fitting and what's not right into others and help others. But the downfall to this placement is we could be so easily to see somebody else's flaws and see somebody else's negatives that we don't actually come back into ourselves and see our own flaws and see our own negatives. It's like we could be so critical about somebody else and trying to fix that person so much that we don't come back into ourselves and trying to look at what we have to work on. Because like I said, we like to feel like we're perfect. We like to feel like we're doing things that have no flaws to the max. Like we want to be obsessively crystal clean, perfect all the time. So what will happen if we heal from these things, if we find the balance within ourselves, if we create our own schedule, like stepping back to what I said about having that work schedule, if we have a job that we're doing and the environment is stressful, or we have a lot of anxiety, or our schedule is created for us and we don't feel like the job we're doing has any substance. Like back when I was working 9 to 5, I would go to work every day. I'll be very organized and all that, but I'll come to work like, yo, why am I doing this every day? I don't have any substance of what I'm doing. We have to feel like we're doing something, our acts of service. We have to feel like we're doing something that has substance, that is needed, that is actually real, and that's actually important in life. So if we're working a menial job, not doing nothing that has substance, and we go to work every day and we're doing these mundane activities, it could wane on us internally, mentally. We can have that strong anxiety. Our health will be deterred. All these things will happen if we don't kind of create our own schedule. So it's preferred that we make our own kind of job We work for ourselves. We create our own schedule so we can actually have full control over our schedule, but also be able to be of acts of service to people by doing something that we love. So a lot of times these people, which is us, we could be perfect, like, you know, personal trainers, nutritionists, even life coaches, low key, because we can see the flaws in people, could see the difficulties in people. We give really good advice. We give really practical advice. So trying to do something for yourself, creating your own type of job, creating your own type of environment where you can have your own schedule, where you're being of acts of service, where you're being of service to people in something that you love. For me, for example, my acts of service is making these videos for y'all, and I can make my own schedule. I don't have any stress. I don't have any anxiety because I'm doing what I love to do, and I'm creating it for myself. What we have to work on, like I said, is the perfectionistic attitude we do and a lot of things we do. The self-criticism, the anxiety that we have because we're putting so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect all the time because of how we felt when we were younger. But when we heal from ourselves, when we do these things, we will unlock the potential to help heal others and be of service to others and help them get to the best and help them reach the highest point of their life, to help them reach the most potential of their life. We could see potential in people and actually tell them the practical steps of actually do this, do that. You know, this is your workout regimen, eat this kind of food, do this for your health, do that. Like, we can actually give y'all practical advice on how to reach your highest potential. But don't just do that to other people without actually bringing it back into yourself. It's all about that balance. So once we heal ourselves, once we get over our perfectionistic attitude, and trust me, this is really hard for us to do because it's like, reaching perfection is like the hardest thing, but it's the most obsessive thing with this placement if you're not careful. And you will be stressing yourself out trying to reach for perfection. So keep that in mind. But once we heal ourselves and are balanced when it comes to these things, we will be great at helping other people reach their highest potential, helping other people, you know, with their day-to-day activities, with their day-to-day routines. It's like we are really good at planning things and organizing things for other people to reach their highest potential. Bring that energy back into ourselves, work on ourselves internally. Don't be so critical on yourself. Don't be so perfectionistic that you're afraid of criticism so much that you don't want to do things, or you're really like, you know, or you're just trying to be so perfect that you're hiding the negative so much. It's all about balance, like I said. But once we do this, we'll be able to heal humanity, help people around us become the best version of themselves while we are healing ourselves, the wounded healer. Our wound is a criticism. Our vulnerability is being criticized. Our vulnerability is being perfect. Our vulnerability could be our physical body, our health. It could be anything that has to do with 6th house, Virgo type things. That's our vulnerability. That's our wound. When we heal from these things, we'll be able to help people around us become their best version of themselves. So that's my video on Chiron in the 6th house. I hope y'all enjoyed that. My next video is going to be a Chiron in the 7th house, and you already know I'm about to go in. If you have subscribed to my channel, appreciate all y'all for real, you already know. But if you still haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and handle that one time for your boy. Don't forget to drink your water, mind your business, and be safe out here. It's your boy, Lil Finesse Jiggy Hippie. I'm going to see all y'all when I see y'all.